Good afternoon. Welcome back to Swangard for the second game this afternoon of the home opening season, or home opener for the TSS Rovers, the first weekend of this League1 BC season for the TSS Rovers. And coming off a high of that Valor win a week and a half ago, Michael McCall getting here with you for the call of the men's action here. Quite a live audience here. Another chance for the Rovers to take it to this Nautsa'mawt FC team, their inaugural game with the men as well after that rebrand, and a good start as well for the women earlier today here, Michael.
Yeah, it was a very entertaining first match. Closely knit affair into the last 20 minutes. A couple of goals for Nautsa'mawt. Can the Nautsa'mawt men get things up and running on a winning way for the newly rebranded team? We'll give you the starting lineups, and then we'll explain a little bit about the TSS starting lineup, because anyone that watched the Valor game in the Canadian Championship might look at this starting lineup and think, that's not the same team.
We'll give you the numbers, the names. Connor Adams will start between the pipes for Darren Rusher's Rovers 11. Fugo Segal, the number 25, number 14, Tyler Dillon, number 21, Shia Zarjanpour, and number 24, Nico Papakrikopoulos. On the back line, Ali Zohar, Grant Verhoeven, 6 and 12 to the midfield, alongside number 11, Eric Edwardson. Up front, Kyle Jones, number 13, number 15, John Joseph, and number 9, Masoud Habibullah for TSS. And for Nautsa'mawt FC, in goal, number 1, Benny McHale. On the back line, Noah Herdalika, Joe Zupo, and Daniel Kaiser. And Kyle Dent, it looks like, from the roster side of things, as well as Ethan Gopal, Kyle Dent, Connor Mrazek, Tomas Pena, and Chris Lee as well for Nautsa'mawt, who look to get off to the races there for the men's side of things after the women had that 2-0 win, as mentioned earlier by Mr. McCall moments ago. As a big chance here for Nautsa'mawt to write their name in the record books for their rebrand. Formerly varsity, who were in the final last year in a heartbreaking loss to the same Rovers team, by the way, of a rematch of last year's League1 BC final, as varsity lost on penalty kicks to the Rovers. And we are underway here on this Saturday afternoon. A warm one here at Swangard, as the Rovers in black and white moving right to left. Nautsa'mawt FC in the yellow and blue moving left to right. And early on, the Rovers' Shia Zarjanpour has the ball. Back there for his keeper, Connor Adams.
And as I mentioned, it's a very different looking TSS Rovers starting lineup for this one than the team that dispatched Valor FC 3-1 in Canadian Championship action. The reason for that is unfortunate scheduling issues. Today is also the Provincial A Cup final that kicks off at Burnaby Lake at 7 o'clock this evening. And because of that, there are 6 players missing from TSS Rovers that will be taking part in that one. Number of starters, unfortunately, having to play in that tonight. Just have to hope that moving forward that the schedules can align a little bit better so that there isn't this overlap, because it's obviously quite a gutting side for a TSS point of view. But speaking to Darren Rusher before the game, mentioned it's a case of next man up, and it's a chance for a number of these guys to kind of stake their claim to a starting spot. One of them in particular on the ball just now, the number 9, Masoud Habibullah.
Trying to find Kyle Jones, a little clip ball, and good read by Sam Aiello. Now back for the speedy, tricky Asvin Shahan. Joined UBC for his first year with the Canada West side. Good rookie year for him as well, Asvin Shahan. Ball just dropped down for Grant Verhoeven. A good chance for him, the TSS Red player. Brother Noah plays in CPL as well.
And despite the number of players that are missing for TSS, it's a very strong side out there, because you've got the likes of Habibullah, Kyle Jones, Ali Zohar. Strong guys. Nico Papake in his left-back role. I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
That's what One Soccer went with. I'm going to keep sticking with that. He could have been playing in the Provincial Cup final, decided that he wanted to play for TSS in this game instead. I'm sure that was a huge sigh of relief for Darren Rusher.
2 different center backs as well compared to that game against Valor, with Danilo Smichenko, Nicholas Barrett out today, and comes Zarjanpour and Tyler Dillon, who is quality in the back line. He was with Altitude last year on that right back position for Valley Bass's Altitude men's side. We're the number 14 this afternoon for Darren Rusher's Rovers.
We were very impressed with what we saw from Tyler Dillon last year with altitude. It's a great chance for him to show what he can do in TSS colours. Because that centre-back pairing of Smachenko and Burrett, they were outstanding against Valor. So that is possibly of all the losses, because we've got good goal scorers out there for TSS today, but I think in the back line that was such a solid defensive performance. An interesting long ball forward there to get chased down there by John Joseph. He's another player that will be looking to seize his opportunity this afternoon. Liked what I've seen from Joseph in training in the build-up to this one.
Kaiser with speed on the outside for Nautsa'mawt. We're in the armband this afternoon for Mike Mosier's team. Good defensive play by Kyle Dent, a recent signing for Nautsa'mawt on the near touchline as Nico Papake will take the throw.
This is a rematch, of course, of last year's championship game when Nautsa'mawt were branded as Varsity FC. I'm sure they will be out for a modicum of revenge. Fantastic day that will long live in the memories of all TSS Rovers fans. Penalty shootout win after a very entertaining and closely contested 1-1 game. And you feel in the early going of this it's going to be another close encounter here.
Good step in there by Dillon. Guys as well, maybe the fringe guys for TSS wanting to stake their claim in this lineup when the regulars come back from the provincial game this evening. Dillon with a nice half volley into the Nautsa'mawt half, knocked forward by Herdalika. Grand Verhoeven now to the outside for Fugo Sagao, who is absolutely insane in that game against Valor. Played as a right back in that game and kept the Valor team to not much on the outside, giving up one goal in that game as well if a penalty kick were TSS.
And a number of these players as well will be looking to try and put some questions in Will Cromac's mind to try and make that game day 18 for the quarter-final matchup against Pacific FC a week on Wednesday. Looking forward to that one.
Sandwiched between a couple of home games as well against Victoria this next Saturday as it is at 4 p.m.
We only play Victoria teams.
Zarjanpour, nice turn on the ball just inside his own half. Ahead for Kyle Jones, who was dynamic in that game as well against Valor. Set up the nice goal by Polisi. Third TSS goal in that game. Aiello now for Nautsa'mawt to the outside. Chris Lee, a Pacific FC player at 1 point. Big coup for Mike Mosier to get him in this Nautsa'mawt squad. On the number 87. Ali Zohar, the SFU Red Leaf, will control the midfield for TSS.
I think Zohar is going to be a key player for TSS this afternoon. He's still really young, just 22 next month, but he's got that experience come through the Whitecap system, good play with SFU, and he needs to be a leader on that pitch this afternoon.
Habibullah in a good position, who torched the Rovers for a couple of goals last year when he was with altitude. Looking for a foul there, but it will go to a corner kick for TSS after a physical play by Habibullah.
First one of the afternoon. There's an interesting wind as well blowing across the pitch. If they can get a good little curl in this, could have a little Olympico in our hands.
Ali Zohar over to take the corner for TSS. We're in the number 6. It was key last year for this team, their run to the finals. Right footed ball towards the back stick, just over the head there of Eric Edwardson. He's also excellent in that Valor game. A lot of these guys really stepped up to the occasion on that night.
Yeah, I mean, to a man, that was an absolutely fantastic performance. Everyone rose to the occasion. This is the bread and butter now, because they've had that taste of Canadian Championship. They're going to get another one in 10 days' time, but they want to be there next year. And the only way that they're going to be able to do that is to win the regular season. So every point is a prisoner at this stage.
Verhoeven for Kyle Jones. What a save by McKay. Thrashed effort by Kyle Jones. Pushed over the bar by McKay. That close for TSS. Opening the scoring this afternoon here at Swangard. What a stop by McKay just then.
Fantastic strike by Kyle Jones, but an equally fantastic save by Bennett McKay. I've been a bit critical of McKay when we do the UBC games. He does give up the odd goal now and again, but I mean, what a save that was from him.
Jones, quick corner for Verhoeven. Back for Kyle Jones. Whip ball into the back stick, and up in the air from Kaiser. Might bounce down for Tyler Dillon. Does well to collect the ball here for TSS. Up the touchline for Edwardson, but out of play here and a throw in for Aiello.
It was a tough Canada West season for McKay. Picked up an injury early in the season, and UBC ended up having to use 3 goalkeepers, and it was their third string keeper that ended up playing in the playoffs, lifting the Canada West trophy, and then just sadly falling short for them in the championship game of U Sports.
What a game that was, by the way, up at Hillside Stadium in Kamloops. In the snow, 120 minutes solved nothing. PKs went TRU's way.
These are the good learning experiences, though, for these UBC players that's on this Nautsa'mawt team.
Ethan Gopal, the speedy forward, that gets that ball first. Head of Dillon. Touched by Verhoeven, just couldn't clear. Now Mrazek on the ball for Nautsa'mawt, trying to play it ahead for the aforementioned Gopal. His experience in League 1 in Ontario.
Yeah, he's an interesting addition because he came through the Whitecaps academy system. I saw him play for the 17s and the 19s there, then went back home to Ontario. Came back out here to play for FC Tigers in the Fraser Valley season, hoping to try and catch the eye of Vancouver FC. Now joined Nautsa'mawt for this season.
Of course, Nautsa'mawt partnering with Pacific FC as a affiliate to program.
Yeah, it's an interesting pilot project that the CPL's done. A lot of it I like, some of the aspects of it I don't. It does obviously favour some teams over the others. There's 2 teams in League 1 that have those affiliations. Unity have the affiliation with Vancouver FC. And then with the Hope and Health connection of James Merriman, who's very heavily involved in that, Nautsa'mawt's got the Pacific FC connection. It's a kind of affiliation TSS can't have because they've got the NCAA players, so they can't be playing on a team with pros. What that could mean, of course, in the future, though, is recruitment of NCAA players might work in the favour of TSS.
Tomas Payne in the ball, and Dent wanted the foul there. Papakriakopoulos got the ball for Joe Zupo, knocks it ahead to the near side for Hrdlicka.
Strong start from TSS here. They really started this one on the front foot. You can see the hunger there and the confidence. It's just oozing through every member of this team. That Canadian Championship win has done so much for this club, both on and off the pitch. It's raised the awareness locally. A really good crowd out here this afternoon for this one.
Chauhan and the turnover there by Verhoeven. And he'll foul Chauhan. And a dangerous front view for Mike Mosier's side. You have Chauhan, Tomei, Gopal, Kyle Dent as well, a young prolific striker.
Yeah, Chauhan really impressed me in Canada West last year with UBC.
And as well in League 1, he joined later on with the Whitecaps.
With the Whitecaps last year.
Towards the end of the year. Him and Chris Albin were dynamic for that U19 side. 11 minutes gone, nothing much to separate these 2 teams. Some good chances for TSS, namely Kyle Jones is that one from Pena, right to the hands of Ben McKay.
Connor Adams,
right. The 2 blue kits
just pick some
mixing
names.
me up, yeah. Adams kind of thrust in limelight here with Justin Sandu away with the Provincial Cup, and one of the top keepers in this league, if not the top keeper.
Sandu, certainly a big loss. Watched him triumph in a penalty shootout with Croatia last weekend, getting his team to this provincial, and Eric Edwardson just offside there. Sandu had a couple of really big penalty saves in that shootout for Croatia against Abbotsford in BC Provincial Cup semi-final action. Couldn't help but watch that and think, I wonder if it goes to penalties against Pacific. There's a good little test for him.
Got great distribution as well. Does Justin Sandu really help them in that Valor game?
If you want to watch the TSS Rovers players that are in action in the Provincial Cup, that game kicks off at 7 o'clock. If you're local, Burnaby Lake, get out to watch that one. Heading off to that after this one. We'll have highlights up on the AFTN Canada YouTube channel. But the game will also be streamed live on the BC Soccer YouTube channel if you want to watch that at home. Be way more entertaining than the Whitecaps game, trust me.
Zohar looking through for John Joseph, who come through the came through rather the TSS system, won a U21 championship a couple of years ago with the U21s, and just a great talent.
Stunning bicycle kick goal in the final. Was at that game out at Empire, and it was a great atmosphere. The Swangardians were out cheering their side on, and they really rose to the occasion against BC Tigers.
Physical play there by Joseph on Mrazek.
It's been a physical start to this one.
Now Masoud Habibullah will have a go from distance.
Ooh.
Not a bad idea. McKay was cheating to the left. And Habibullah, why not, from about 25 yards out, minute number 14.
Masoud Habibullah has not seen a shot he doesn't want to take.
Yeah. He'll try it from 30 yards if he has to. The brother of Cameron of the Whitecaps, obviously, the Habibullah family. Masoud, a slow start to the League1 BC season last year. Then he caught fire at the end of the year.
Yeah, finished with 5 goals and an assist from his 11 performances with Altitude. Made the switch to TSS this year.
Mrazek lays it through for Gopal. A good play by Zarjanpur. Gets there first. And he'll just knock it down the touchline. Beautiful ball for Joseph. What a play by Joseph.
Nice little flick there. Nearly came off. See, you've got a front two in Habibullah and Joseph that are so hungry and they want to get those minutes. They want to be in that mix for the Canadian Championship. We know that they can both score. Joseph with Toronto Varsity Blues. Previously with Dixie State University, where he got 7 goals and 3 assists in his 3 years there. Certainly knows how to find the back of the net, and he's another TSS lifer. There's a few of them on the squad that's come through this team from the under 11 age group up.
Great little nick ball forward from Tomas Pena, who's excellent last year as well at the Whitecaps U19s. From Winnipeg originally.
Yeah, that's another good pickup for Nautsa'mawt. The problem with the Whitecaps League 1 side is it's the bulk of the under 19 team, and then they can bring some alumni back from colleges.
Ball bounces kindly for Joseph, trying to hustle that one for TSS. Headed away by Zupo, away by McKay, and it looks like it'll be a deep throw in here for TSS.
This is fantastic stuff in the opening 15 minutes here from the Rovers. Really have taken the game to this Nautsa'mawt side. I've just noticed the wind's died down a little bit. I see some of the jerseys still fluttering. I was wondering how much the wind was maybe playing into it for them.
Be a corner actually for Ali Zohar's got that great right-footed delivery we saw in the first 10 minutes of this one here so far through 16 though. Zohar, can he give TSS the lead here off a corner? Herdalika up but not away fully. Back into the middle for Edwardson and away by Joe Zupo. Papakrikopolis back forward collected by McKay. Funny enough to see Zupo is normally an assistant coach with Mike Mosier at UBC being coached by his fellow coach right now, Mike Mosier. Zupo back in the squad after playing with varsity last year.
Yeah, he was such a key player for them in the defensive side. He brings that experience, and that was something that Mike had talked about last year. He wants to have those older, more experienced players in to help coach the young ones along.
Gopal for Shahan after a great ball over the top from Chris Lee on that left foot. Shahan one-on-one, very technically skilled, trying to get past Fugo Sagawa. And came Grant Verhoeven to step up as he's been very good so far. Verhoeven, a little bit physical side of him as well. Tim and Jones partnering in midfield today for TSS.
Yeah, Jones is one of the experienced guys on TSS that really needs to settle this team down today. As Habibullah showing what he does well.
Joseph in space to his left. Habibullah to John Joseph. Oh, it might have hit the hand of Herdalika. It's cleared away by Zupo, but what a read. And ball forward from Habibullah across to Joseph, who was one-on-one with the defender and who's blocked in front.
Just didn't fully connect on that. More played it across as opposed to goalward. Nice and selfish play, though, there from Habibullah.
Zohar now clips it through. Perfect ball. Edwardson just offside, but a great distribution again by Zohar to Double E.
I watched that whole run, and as soon as it left the foot, it looked like he was off.
That's the creativity that Zohar brings to the midfield along with Jones. It's those penetrating balls through in behind the back line that really helped to TSS that victory against Valor, and you're seeing it so far here today.
Rovers as well brought a good bit of physicality to this. I don't know if you noticed on the previous corner there, but Joseph and McKay were getting into it on the goal line a little bit.
The corner of my eye, saw that. Zohar, tricky play past two players, but
I didn't think that had gone out. I've got to say, and Darren Rusher didn't think that had gone out either. I mean, from up here, that certainly looked to be on the line. Zohar dancing his way through the Nautsa'mawt midfield there.
Darren Rusher pleading his case there with the fourth official.
They probably thought down there, oh, Will Cromack's moved on for League One. We're not going to get it constantly in the ear. But no, they've got Dan instead.
Can't have a drop-off. Vocalization from the coaching staff. 19 minutes, a physical one so far. Scoreless. And safe to say a total evenly game so far. But feel a goal coming from either of these teams. Probably TSS, the way they've pressed on here.
And TSS have clearly been the better side to start this one. It's been a few huffs and puffs forward from Nautsa'mawt, but they haven't really got that attack going. Not sure what it's been like on the men's side, but speaking to Jesse Simons after the women's game, they only had their first training session as a group on Tuesday, just because of exams and stuff. So I would imagine it's been the same on the men's side as well. So they've still got to try and get some of that chemistry going. Helps, of course, with so many of them being UBC Thunderbird players.
Zohar playing it over the top there for Fugo Sagawa. 1-on-1 with Chris Lee, and fouled there by Sagawa by way of a push in the back of Lee, and it'll be a free kick for Nautsa'mawt. Just in front of the far corner flag.
Sagawa, one of a few players on this TSS side that's got professional experience over in Europe. Spent some time in Sweden and Finland. Saw time in the CPL with York United as well.
That was during those island games.
Yeah.
The Maritimes.
A weird time to end up playing. I know he's keen to try and get back into CPL or get back into the pro ranks. Eric Edwardson spent time in Germany before he went off to college with Portland, had training stints with Bayern Munich under 17s. You've got Connor McMillan that's got experience in Sweden. A number of these guys came through the Whitecaps Academy as well. Kyle Jones, Masood Habibullah. One of the good things for TSS, maybe not so much for the players, is the CPL transfer window closed on the 24th. So they've at least got this group together for the Canadian Championship run and much of the League 1 season. Slightly surprised that a few of the guys maybe didn't get some looks, but a lot of the rosters are full, and it might be more in the summer when players move on or there's injuries hit. But you can be sure the eyes of Canadian soccer are on this TSS Rovers side after their achievements against Valor.
Rare misplay there by Kyle Jones. Usually accurate on those balls over the top there. Papakrikopoulos with a foot in there, and Joseph won the ball back really well for TSS and sets off Zohar.
Really impressive so far.
Edwardson now back out wide here for Joseph. He's got some room to roam on the near side for the Rovers. 1-on-1 with Kaiser. Finds Masood Habibullah in a good position, and the touch misled him there in a very good position and cleared out of play by Mrazek.
Rovers get a corner out of that at least. Just a slightly misjudged first touch there from Masood.
Corner coming out for Ali Zohari on the near side.
Connor Adams not happy about something just gesturing to the bench as he's miles off his line.
Sagawa with the header down, but Shohan knocks it by him, trying to go for a run. Good read by Tyler Dillon, astute defensively here. Pushes it out of play. Josh Tomei now back. Make that Tomas Pena back there for Zupo. Zupo experience as well with Tigers in the FBSL and Played with them for a number of years. Papakyriakopoulos will recollect here for TSS and move up the touchline. Played with Unity last year as he finds Jones. Bit of room to run on the far side for Edwardson, but the ball didn't come to him. Shohan clattered there. And a free kick for Nautsa'mawt just inside the TSS half.
Yeah, Nico was another one of those players that really shone in that Valor game. One of the rating sites had him as the player of the game with an 8.7 rating. Spoken a lot to his dad over this year. He's always out at the BB5 games, so I got to know him quite well. His dad, Costa. He's delighted that his son has joined TSS.
Was with them as well in the past in their USL League 2 days. League 4 drops down a yellow, a half volley, and let him down a little bit with that strike.
Don't think Adams has really had a save
No.
to make. He had that one free kick that he just collected, but nice first outing so far for him.
Kind of third in the pecking order with Sandu, Tyson Gagush, who's injured, and Adams now.
Yeah, it was a interesting discussion. Everyone was patiently awaiting the result of that Croatia-Abbotsford game last Saturday to see, are they going to have a goalkeeper or not? And then when it turned out that Justin was going to be in that final, Connor Adams' signing was made. Has 2 years out at Queen's Gales. Just played 4 games for them. Another player that's come through the Whitecaps academy though. Big 6 foot tall keeper. Just 19 years old. Another of a number of players that's come through this conveyor belt of Whitecaps goalkeeping talent. It's quite incredible.
Zohar for Nico. One-on-one duel with Kyle Dent, who's really impressed me out wide early on here for Mike Mosier's Nautsa'mawt FC. We're in the number 9. Respected ball through for Joseph, was nipped out well by Hrdlicka. Verhoeven now. Shai Zarjanpour was teammates with Zupo on that Tigers team during the summer a couple of years ago when they played some friendly games against FC Okanagan. And was with the Whitecaps U19s last year as well as Zarjanpour. Quality center back. Played the outside back as well.
Yeah, I think the Whitecaps mostly used him as a fullback, but he's certainly got a lot of strings to his defensive bow.
What a backline Whitecaps U19s had last year.
Oh,
Zarjanpour,
yeah.
Tomei, and Eric Lajeunesse, who's now with Pacific FC. So what a 3-10 of the back of the Whitecaps U19s and a Rich Fagan had last League1 BC season.
I mean, with that Pacific tie-up, you do wonder, are we going to maybe see Lajeunesse coming a little bit into this? I haven't had a chance to chat to Mike to see how things are going to work, or James either. Spoke to Afshin Gotby out at Vancouver FC about how he wants things to work with Unity, and just sees it as a great opportunity for these young fringe guys to get minutes. You see today Tyler Crawford thrown into the game and not having a great outing out there and getting taken off in the first half for Vancouver FC. And he needs more developmental minutes under his belt at a high level, so we'd expect to see some movement, and Vancouver FC use Unity very well in that regard.
Adams
it looked like he maybe had carried that out,
Wow.
but
Fine lines.
he did well to shield it so that no one could see what he did, and then just tuck it back in. There was no appeal, to be fair, though.
Yeah,
from the
Gopal's
Nautsa'mawt
right there.
player,
I think
so
he would have probably gone up in
yeah.
arms if that one was outside the line. Jones, a clash there with Dent. Now Kaiser, fouled by John Joseph. Hear that a lot in this game, the way Joseph plays. Edgy style. Clinical, though. Played at Dixie State and NCAA for a couple of seasons. Pena takes a lot of those set pieces for Nautsa'mawt. Pacey winger.
I was just thinking we haven't seen much of Daniel Kaiser's trademark runs up the right, but he's very far forward here for this. But
playing as a right winger right now.
yeah, I mean, they've just not got him on the ball at all. And a lot of that, though, is due to the pressure this Nautsa'mawt backline's been under.
Shahan chasing that ball down, but it will be a corner for Nautsa'mawt. I believe it's their first of the game.
I think it is.
Or is now an offside flag gone up?
Oh, it's not.
Late call with your linesman. Love to see a Tomas Pena corner here. The way he's got that right-footed delivery. Him or Chris Lee can really put their foot over the ball.
Got a couple of messages in on Twitter. Stephen Mosher is loving the commentary. Joe Deasy says, Chips, Sunshine, League 1 BC, and you and me on commentary. Not a bad Saturday. Sharing a picture of his kid, a future TSS Rovers player, doing his homework and watching the game. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us during the broadcast, if you want to chat about this game, either the teams, the League 1 BC season, the exciting expansion in League 1 Canada, get in touch and we'll cover some stuff over the broadcast, either on the YouTube chat or AFTN Canada on Twitter.
Habibullah from distance try to strike. Now Papa Ken the ball for TSS. Remember former statsman Joe Deasy? Oh,
I forgot he used to do that in the
and we were going to tape
PDL
a podcast,
games. Yes.
or tape a podcast on after one of the games, and his wife went into labor, so he had to depart. So totally understanding of that situation.
I think his priorities were all wrong. That's why he's no longer here doing the podcast. But
one of those get out of jail free cards. Habibullah inside the Nautsa'mawt half. Beautiful turn. Great layoff there for John Joseph on the overlapping run. Joseph back to the top of the 18. Zohar in some space for TSS. Clips it through for Habibullah again. And Kaiser will have to clear, but again, Habibullah in a very good position. Just couldn't make the touch he wanted there as he could have turned and struck one towards goal. Disappointed with his effort there. Little tap on the shoulder by Kyle Jones.
I think Dan Rusher will be very happy with what he's seen from his side. Big day for him. First game in charge of the team. For anyone that doesn't know, Darren is the new TSS Rovers head coach.
Papakea teasing ball in.
McKay flapping at that one under pressure from Eric Edwardson.
Reminds me of like a dad giving his son the keys to the car just for a couple games, and then Will comes back, and then Will goes back to Ontario, and then Darren takes over again. So nice shiny car for a couple
Darren's
games.
Older than Will, so it's like the son giving the dad.
Not the relation, just that idea. Anyway, go Paul on the way through for Nautsa'mawt. And grabbed there by Connor Adams, but yes, very happy for Darren Rusher.
Yeah, he's been very heavily involved with TSS for many a year. And just to finish what I was saying, for anyone that doesn't know, Will is just back for the Canadian Championship games. Just wanting all the glory, I think is what he was wanting.
All the TV interviews.
Yeah, I tell you, he's sick of doing those already. But he's just back for those games, wanting to finish what he started with this group. Darren will be the man leading this team going forward. Hopefully it's Darren we will see in the Canadian Championship next season.
Herdalika now back along the side for Joe Zupo, a Queen's Gale alumni as well, so I'm sure him and Connor Adams going to chat about that program after the game. OUA produces so many great players as well. Zarjanpur tracked down here by Tomas Pena. Beautiful turn.
Fantastic play there by Shea.
But it's back for Pena, just cleared away by Dylan. Now throwing for Nautsa'mawt through Danny Kaiser.
Again, good hustle there from John Joseph to break that one up.
Daniel's brother Marcus, a teammate of his with UBC, not on the squad though for Nautsa'mawt. As Daniel Kaiser carries on his run to the end line. Kaiser cuts it back across over the goal there as Dent was in a very good position for Nautsa'mawt. Got his foot under it, but went over the goal. Unfortunately for the visitors, still scoreless on 32 minutes.
The best and really the first chance for Nautsa'mawt in this one, and you feel that should have been put away from there. Evan Lycus in the YouTube chat says, go TSS. He's one of the TSS under-21 players. Had pleasure on watching him play in the recent FTF Canada showcase that did commentary on back in March. We'll be doing that again in July as well, so make sure you watch that.
You've taken over my role there, which I'm happy about, but...
So were they said. So.
Oh, good. One door closes, another one opens.
You wanted a rest. Or you had to work or something.
Yeah. Free kick here for the Rovers. Fugo Sagawa, who's been quiet in that right wing. Not a bad thing for TSS, so a lot of plays come down this left channel for the Rovers. Eric Edwardson as well, unusually quiet for Darren Rusher's TSS.
Yeah, Double E's not really got himself involved in this too much. Had that nice run that he got on that was just offside. He's coming off another strong season with FC Tigers. Last year's League 1 BC Golden Boot winner. The club gave him a lovely wood-carved plinth shield.
Oh, a what? A plinth?
Yeah.
Is that a Scottish thing
No,
I don't know about?
the shield goes on the plinth.
Oh, I see. Okay. So
I
many things I
had
learned
a
last
plinth
year.
as well.
Yeah. My vocabulary had expanded throughout last year, by the way.
I'm just going to check if plinth is a Scottish word.
Verhoeven out to the wing for aforementioned Edwardson, trying to get involved here, but Zohar's ball back to overlapping Sagawa did not work. Zupo will just let it go for Ben McKay.
Got a very eager ball boy down in the corner as well, just dying to throw that ball on the pitch. I have to give big kudos to the ball boys and ball girls that were involved in that Canadian Championship
I was just
game.
going to say, there's some sideline conversations going on.
Fantastic little bit of shithousery in there from them. Very quick to get the ball back in the first half.
Yeah.
Not so much in the second.
No.
It's like, oh, I just let that one run through. Sorry. That's how I would teach the ball boys.
Sagawa now for the Rovers. Not often you see a left-footed player on the right side of defense, but he's got that speed. He's able to recover after a giveaway if that happens. Dylan will play it towards half for Edwardson. And a little shove in the back by Verhoeven on Pena.
Mentioned Evan Lycus earlier. He's mentioned that Darren is actually his coach with the under-21. Says he's a very good coach. The under-21s play their football out in the Fraser Valley in the Adult Men's League.
Sagawa back now for Adams, who's has that left-footed delivery. Had to play it back out wide to Sagawa. And a beautiful ball on the far touchline for Sagawa. Edwardson ahead now. Might have some space for Grant Verhoeven for TSS. Lays it back there for Jones. Kyle Jones attacking now for the Rovers from distance. Thought about a strike out wide for Joseph. Joseph now back here for Papakrikopoulos. Trying to get past Kyle Dent and went off the right foot of Papakrikopoulos and a throw in for Nautsa'mawt and a wasted opportunity there on the counterattack for the Rovers, you feel.
Yeah, it was a fantastic breakaway as well. They really should have capitalised that a lot more. It was a great ball in from Verhoeven to Jones and then just kind of broke down a little bit. Good thing from a TSS point of view is, though, they are getting these opportunities and they're finding the space. Been very impressed with what I've seen from this makeshift side so far. If you think they're good today, wait till they've got the full complement of players at their disposal.
Yeah. The front four, really, besides Jones and Edwardson, are temporary players. You have McMillan in there as Papakrikopoulos up into there. Him and
heavy landing
Kyle
as
Dent
well there for Nico.
collide. Dent very physical as well. You notice that, the UBC player. Make that Daniel Kaiser. So that's not surprising at all, seeing Kaiser up in there. The way he plays physically is him and Papa K will have a little tap on the back there. Sportsmanship through 37.
Might not be Dent, but I think he possibly has left one in Kaiser there from that challenge.
Felt there might be goals here in the first 25 minutes, and the last 10 has kind of dropped off. Talked about the first game being a chess match. It feels that way here as well.
It's going to be even hotter out there now as well.
As well, how fluid the front four have been for for Nautsa'mawt. I almost said varsity there, but the way Pena and Dent, Gopal and Shahan have kind of floated around as well. A yellow playing more advanced role. Mrazek, the only man in midfield for Nautsa'mawt in behind the front four. Front five.
Mrazek's been very quiet out there, though. I mean, we've seen what he can do with UBC. But that's testament to how well TSS are playing. They've just not given Nautsa'mawt any time on the ball. Habibullah dropping a little deeper there to try and get things going.
Zarjanpur for Edwardson. Fantastic ball right to the chest of Edwardson. A touchback for Habibullah. Left a lot to be desired there.
That was well cut out there by Joe Zupo. That's the experienced centre-back reading that play.
Iola, great ball for Kaiser. Stepping in was Joseph, clattered by Kaiser. And no foul there. Herdalika now for Nautsa'mawt back there for Zupo.
Some interesting options on the bench for TSS as well today that will come to when we hopefully see them. Very excited to see one of the young players, Kian Proctor, that I've been watching at training and has looked very good out there.
Kaiser won that battle there. Ahead for Dent. Now Gopal from distance, struck it well, but Zarjanpur equal to the task. Nice block. Now has been Chauhan for Nautsa'mawt. Collected by Fugo Segawa for TSS. Some tantalizing options off the bench as well for TSS with Taylor Richardson as well. Big striker can put the ball in the net, that's for sure. So Lee will thump that one away on the far side. Slowly over there to take the corner is Kyle Jones. Won't mind that. Will TSS trying to slow the play down a little bit as Nautsa'mawt has used their pace in the wide areas in the last few minutes to create some damage.
Some people sunbathing on the bleachers opposite as well.
40th minute of play here. Can TSS capitalize on the corner? Kyle Jones with that sweet left foot plays it in towards the middle. It's a good ball. There was Joseph and McKay dueling it out.
Another battle between those two. That's an interesting one to watch. He's definitely looks like he's been told to be on the keeper.
Here's Dent now with space to his right. Ethan Gopal, great ball through from Dent. Gopal with speed to the outside. Cuts it back there for Dent, top of the 18. Lays it off, beautifully done for Chauhan. He'll try and encroach into the Rovers box. Chauhan from Mrazek, top of the 18. Struck it well, blocked. Drops down there towards goal and a weird one off the grass.
Weird bounce that was.
And a good save by Adams.
No harm done in the end. That took a really strange bounce.
What quality counterattack, though, by Nautsa'mawt. You see why the chemistry at the forefront there between Chauhan and Mrazek.
The little flick on was fantastic.
And Kyle Dent showing his quality. Jones down to the outside for Nico. Another SFU red leaf. Joseph now off the ball forward from Kaiser. Dylan, tough spot, closed down by Pena. Papa K getting up there, flicks it on for Kyle Jones, who's pushed in the back by Herdalika. Can't believe it. And a little argument gave way to the free kick for TSS here in front of the Nautsa'mawt bench.
Pace has definitely dipped towards the end of the half, as we saw in the women's game.
What a first game it was, though, between TSS and Nautsa'mawt women's side. Is the 2 second-half goals, 15 minutes apart from Jesse Simon's team. The difference in that one. Good showing, though, for the women's side of TSS with a lot of key players out of the lineup in that one.
The Lowdown has left a comment on the YouTube chat. Cheering on the Rovers here in the car with Coach Willie coming back from an under-13 OPDL game in Windsor. Willie back doing his day job with FC London.
Edwardson. Foot in from Chris Lee. Good step in, though. Now it's here for Verhoeven. Kyle Jones. Habibullah now for Jones. Good clearance away by Yellow. Asman Chauhan, nice step in now. Tomas Pena on the ball, trying to put ahead quickly for Gopal. And pass just misled Gopal there, but it would have been a great chance to counterattack for TSS, or sorry, for Nautsa'mawt there as TSS had some numbers forward. Here's Zohar again for the Rovers. Swan Guardians cheering their team on here. 43 minutes played, no score. Inaugural game under the new name for Nautsa'mawt FC. Can they make it a daily double here this afternoon with a win over TSS, or can the Rovers turn the tide here? Last couple minutes of this opening half from Swangard, an opening day of the League1 BC season. Some exciting games as well on tap today. The newly branded Harborside FC is McKay with a loose touch there. Will keep it in the near side, kill some time. Harborside in action against Unity at 3 and 5:30. The women's at 3, the men's at 5:30. Victoria, the Whitecaps tomorrow, 12 and 2:30 as well. And Altitude up in Kamloops against Rivers FC. All teams now in action as well, with 8 teams in the league compared to 7. Pena now wide for Kaiser, whips it back to the back stick for Gopal. Sagawa now has to deal with that one as Shohan right over him. It'll be a throw in for Aspen Sean of Nautsa'mawt on 44 minutes here. Pena now back there for Shohan. Sagawa stepped in well, and away by Dylan. Zupo for Chris Lee. Razik now watched by Grant Verhoeven. Clipped over the top for Tomas Pena, one-on-one against Tyler Dillon, trying to play back across goal. Dillon in a good position, and a free kick coming up here for Tomas Pena of Nautsa'mawt.
Dylan, one of my defenders of the year last year in League1 BC. Him and Nathan Walters, that pairing that they had together was fantastic for Altitude. A team that had just really started to find their groove when the season sort of ran out. We spoke about that with Unity on the women's side.
Shahan towards the back post, a curving ball just to the left of Adams' goal. On 45 minutes, can't feel like there's much time to be added on here, if any.
I don't think so, no.
First game didn't have any added time either.
I'm sure this one Guardians have got a new drum as well, because it sounds louder than it has before.
Thought they would have spent all their money after that Valor game, but I guess they have some money left in the bank to purchase a new drum.
Spent hundreds in smoke in that game.
Yeah.
that was their season supply of smoke gone.
Verhoeven for Sagawa. Now Eric Edwardson for TSS. And that's halftime here at Swangard. No score between Nautsa'mawt and the Rovers after 45 minutes play. The only real chance to talk about the Kyle Jones save by Bennett McKay on 20 minutes. We'll speak to you after the break here at Swangard. No score after 45. Welcome back to Swangard Stadium for the second half of action here between Nautsa'mawt FC and TSS Rovers. Scoreless at the half between these two. Nautsa'mawt in the yellow and the blue, the Rovers in the black and the whites. Two chances in the first half for one for each side, actually, is Kyle Jones, a good strike at goal. That was parried away by Bennett McKay in the Nautsa'mawt goal. In 32 minutes, it was Kyle Dent with a flash in the pan for Nautsa'mawt that was well saved by Connor Adams in the Rovers goal. A couple of changes at halftime for Nautsa'mawt as Nicholas Momatani comes in, as well as Mitchell O'Brien. And out Kyle Dent and Mrazek. As Masoud Habibullah now on the ball for Rovers to try to push it into the Nautsa'mawt half, and able to do so. Throw-in coming up for the hosts.
I think TSS will be happy to see Dent go off. He was certainly one of the livelier guys for Nautsa'mawt. Momatani coming on as well, one of two brothers on the team. We've seen him over the years at UBC. He has some pace, so that's really going to test this Rovers backline. Mrazek had a quiet game, so that's maybe not as big a decision or surprise. Very good first half though, even. TSS certainly shaded the action as Eric Edwardson tries to get one off there, takes a deflection off Lee, and it's going to be out for the first corner of the second half.
Talked about how quiet he was in the first half, and it probably hurt us as he jumped into the rush there and had a strike, and well blocked by Lee. Talk about Lee's professional experience. That's where Edwardson's trying to go as well, and had some opportunities. Eric Edwardson, or Portland pilot of the NCAA, as a ball whipped in dangerously by Jones. Away by Nautsa'mawt, not fully. Missed by Tomas Pena, and cleared by O'Brien.
It's a dangerous clearance initially there from Herlica, but offside flags going up somewhat weirdly. That assistant referee having the best of the two jobs in the shade.
See how long it takes Taylor Richardson to come onto the pitch here for the Rovers. Prolific goal scorer, tall striker. Caused chaos this year in Canada West with UFE Cascades.
Yeah, you have to think we'll definitely see him towards the last little bit of this game. Keane Proctor as well. I was mentioning in the first half, he's a lively forward, big bustling winger. Pace certainly dipped a little bit from the start of the first half.
Segawa now looking over the top there for Edwardson. He's actually got the captain's armband on right now. Does Edwardson, with Connor McMillan away with BB5 as mentioned. Throw-in coming up here for Tyler Dillon of the Rovers.
C-Mac and the rest of the BB5 guys here watching the match before they head up to Burnaby Lake for their final, as Nico Papakay's dad just walks by us.
Looks like Daniel Davidson there as well, and the former Rover Nick White as well. Gabe Escobar is injured right now for TSS, taking part in the watching this afternoon.
Yeah, a couple of key players out injured at the moment for TSS. They'll hope to have everyone back full and healthy for that big Canadian Championship clash on the 10th.
Nick's brother Anthony, a signee with Vancouver FC, so one of those players that really benefited from this league last season. He's on the bench today against HFX Wanderers.
Yeah, it was disappointing to see Nick go back into the Whitecaps fold, really. I was hoping to see him play another season here. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us during the game, you can do so on Twitter at AFTN Canada, or leave a message for us in the YouTube stream. If you want to talk about the match, either of these sides, any of the players, the League1 BC season, or just chat about the exciting expansion that is League 1 Canada.
Nico Papakay leaves it along there, and into touch on the far side by Noah Herdlika.
One man avidly watching this Stream is Ryan Lindsay out in Winnipeg. He is one of the analysts that TSS have. Was out for that Canadian Championship game. Has tweeted to say he wished he was back here watching this one. I'm sure it's a lot warmer here than it is in Winnipeg right now.
Can't beat Swangard on a sunny day, that's for sure. Segawa does really well. The hole in the ball on the near side for TSS, finding Ali Zohar. O'Brien now for Aiello.
Yeah, such a beautiful, picturesque stadium with the mountains and the backdrop of Central Park.
Good crowd on hand as well this afternoon. We talked about that in the first half here, but
yeah, it's been a really good turnout for this one. You never know what you're going to get when it's a sunny Saturday afternoon. The hope was, of course, that people got the TSS bug from that Canadian Championship game and they want to come along for all the season's action. Tickets available all season long for the 7 home games.
7 more, but 8 total. Get a season membership as well. Didn't get the number on attendance in that Canadian Championship game. Was it a few thousand? Or?
It was officially, they sold just over 1,600 tickets. There was about 400 or 500 free ones given away to different youth groups and stuff. So it was over 2,000. Certainly looked a lot more.
Yes, it did.
Sounded a lot more,
yes,
especially when the goals went in.
The roof plays a factor, that's for sure. Kept some noise in, made it pretty loud in here.
Yes, that's something Vancouver FC will find out, that they have no roofs, that they need that, and they do want that. It's just been some issues with the city of Langley and the stadium development. So hopefully a roof will come there, especially for pale-skinned folk like me.
You'd have to get you an umbrella in the media booth if they have one there. Excited for that home opener next Sunday.
Factor 100 lathered all over me.
AFTN sponsored media coverage cover stand.
Yeah, if any sunscreen people want to sponsor us, get in touch.
Just nervous for the summer when it gets really hot sitting in those stands for games.
Yeah, with the metal bleachers and everything.
Throwing for Nico Papakriakopoulos on the far side for TSS. Good run from Kyle Jones. Great throw in there from a man they call Papa K for Jones.
Another corner here coming up for TSS. 53rd minute. The game's definitely dipped in pace right now, and it needs someone to take this by the scruff of the neck. Kyle Jones, certainly a player that can do that. But it's Ali Zohar just now over for this corner.
Taylor Richardson going through some final warm-up stages for TSS. As Zohar will whip it in dangerously for Habibullah. Saved by McKay. And another quarter coming up. There's another great delivery from Ali Zohar. And well parried by McKay, his second save of the game.
Zohar's corners this afternoon have been fantastic, and Habibullah did well to meet that. McKay didn't know too much about it, but did what he needed to do, and it's another one right onto the keeper.
Wonder if the Rovers pinpointed that as something to take into effect today. Cleared away by O'Brien.
McKay has certainly shown at times with UBC that with crosses, he is one of the smaller sized keepers out there, that when you put some pressure on him, it sometimes is difficult for him to get to the ball. And I think that is definitely in the TSS game plan this afternoon.
Lay back for Joe Zupu of Nautsa'mawt. Now no Herdalika for the for Nautsa'mawt. As the Rovers try to press here, Habibullah furthest forward for TSS. Wonder if this is his final run out for the Rovers, as Richardson primed and ready in the end line, just to the left of the Swangardians.
Got a tweet in from Lakeside Papa asking, no Polisi for Rovers today? No, he is a BB5 player, so he is away on Provincial Cup duty this afternoon, sadly, along with a few other players. BB5's winter season just coming to an end with the Provincial, so they have the first call on all the players. Don't worry, he will be there to terrorise you on the island for that Canadian Championship game.
Sure, the Pacific faithful doing some scouting. Have next Saturday as well as the Rovers host the Highlanders, and then off to the island.
Yeah, I'm sure we have a lot of viewers watching in and watching in on demand as well from the island for this one. James Merriman will be a interested spectator, I'm sure, especially as he has...
Kaiser for Pena knocked down wide of the goal.
He's an interest with Hope and Health in this Nautsa'mawt team as well. We have people watching the streams from all over as well. We've got a message coming in from, I want to say, Gugu. Anyway, he says, sorry if I murdered your name there, but greetings from Lima, Peru, saying good luck to all the League 1 BC
We need
teams.
some more difficult names, and you need to be reading them because we all know how well you do with difficult names. So
I'm going to try Guju.
Guju. We both nailed the Nautsa'mawt name, though. I was kind of worried about that coming into this one. But
I've been practicing.
no preseason games as well, so we can't get the jitters out then. But pretty smooth transition back into the games here on YouTube, presented by Sports Canada TV in partnership with AFTN Canada. First weekend of 13 games in the regular season, and after this, for each of these teams, they meet once more in the regular season and then potentially in the playoffs.
Yes, the new playoff format this year. 4 teams will make it into the semi-finals. First will play fourth, second will play third. 2 winners of that will head into the championship game, slated to take place August 5th to 7th weekend. Winner of that will also take part in the first interprovincial championship for League 1 sides. On the men's side, the women had their first one last year.
So the women's one's hosted here at Swangard?
But no,
Oh.
It's venue to be confirmed.
I see.
Swangard is still closed, but it will be held in the Lower Mainland.
Gotcha.
If I'm putting money on it, I'd probably put it at being at Langley's new stadium.
Yet to be named, really, to be fair.
Well, yet to be built,
Yeah,
really,
sure.
to be fair.
I've been watching the build updates on through a Vancouver FC supporter, and it's getting a little bit down to the wire.
Yes,
As
I'm
always.
heading out this week. I'll take some more.
Happy
Pull with
Bula!
the shot.
Oh, good save by McKay. As he had a goal from distance in the 58th. Masoud Habibullah has been quiet at times. He always pops up with those good moments.
Both got very excited there because we know what Masoud Habibullah can do. Another great season for Masoud in VMSL as well, with Inter 13 goals, their leading scorer. Some bangers in there as well.
Zohar back for Dylan.
Oh, TSS
Sargentpur
now.
through for Habibullah.
Oh,
Hauled
no.
down, no call. Wanted a yellow, maybe even a red there, but Zupo shakes it off. Habibullah slowly to his feet there for TSS.
Want to see this again, which is the luxury we have of watching the stream that's on about a 30-second delay. Oh yeah, he just stumbles and falls. So definitely nothing in that one. Unfortunate stumble there though, because if he could have got onto that, I think he would have rounded McKay and put the Rovers in the lead for his first TSS goal. Right in front of the Swangardians as well. That's where you want to get your first goal for this club.
Didn't have much of a sniff against Valor in his brief appearance at Habibullah.
Did some good running though, and certainly put the Valor defence on the back line, or back foot rather.
Segawa, beautiful touch off the chest. He's off to the races here for TSS. Habibullah to his left. McKay way out of his goal. Segawa with the overlapping run there to John Joseph. Joseph will have a goal from distance, and a good save by McKay. Read that one well. You felt it was coming that way the whole time. And McKay equal to the task here in the 60th minute.
Thought Segawa had stumbled and given the ball away there, but managed to get it off to Joseph. Not sure that shot from there was the best option that was on for TSS. Segawa's had a fantastic outing again for the Rovers this afternoon. You can definitely see the class and a player that has played in the pro ranks. Both coaches, hands on their hips, watching this one.
Zupo dealing with that one really well, but Edwardson gets to it first after the bounce. Eric Edwardson, he's got Habibullah with him, cuts it across. Well defended by Noah Herdalika.
There's going to be a corner now for TSS. They looked that they're going to be making a double substitution. I'd imagine they're going to wait till after this corner kick, but two very interesting attacking pieces going to be coming on for TSS. We'll get to that shortly. One in particular I'm very looking forward to seeing. Once he takes his earring out. How do players still do that?
Zohar whips it in back post for Habibullah. Oh, what a delivery again from Zohar.
I tell you, Ali Zohar is getting closer and closer with these free kicks, and the wind in the first half I thought was going to be favourable to him, but that one, again, it's getting closer and closer to curling in. Have to wonder who's going to come off here. Probably Masood and maybe Eric Edwardson, because he hasn't really done a lot, but John Joseph as well has had a quiet second half after a good first half.
What a elusive play by Kyle Jones from distance. Jones through for Habibullah, away by Herdalika, drops down for Edwardson. Trying to switch the play beautifully for Grant Verhoeven. Now Nico. Over the top for Edwardson, trying to climb the ladder, drops down Habibullah, and a foul there, but I thought Edwardson was pushed into McKay. Wow.
Again, watch the replay here as a, well, not for the people at home, but for us watching the stream and delay. I thought he was pushed into the keeper as well. Kind of jumps into him. This is why it's good to have the chance to watch this back.
We always eat our words about these initial time, real-time moments.
But coming on for TSS, it's the big number 20, Taylor Richardson, 25-year-old midfielder, can play forward as well, out of the UFV Cascades, and a player I'm very interested in seeing, a new addition to TSS ranks. He's from England, but I won't hold that against him. Kechi Adeniyi, 24-year-old forward. Going off is Masood Habibullah, and it is John Joseph that is making way. Adeniyi, 4 years playing with University of New Brunswick Reds. 39 games played, 12 goals, 5 assists, named the 2022 AUS Most Valuable Player as well. Really looking forward to what he can do at this level, and the two subs look like they're going to get involved right away. It's Taylor Richardson now.
Richardson on his left foot at the top of the 18. Richardson still going. And away there by Kaiser.
Couple of UNB Reds on this team.
Now into the game for your TSS Rovers, number 20, Taylor Richardson, and number 2, AJ Adeniyi.
The Rovers scratches, so to speak, to my right, up in arms over that free kick call. Getting close to kickoff with the Burnaby traffic here, so I have to leave pretty soon here in the 63rd.
They've got, I mean, their game kicks off at 7. You'd think they would want to be there probably more than an hour before kickoff, but I don't know, we'll see. It's a good 15-minute drive probably from here to Burnaby Lake. I have to say as well, watching Gabe Escobar on the pitch is entertaining. Watching him watch a game in the stands is even more entertaining. For that Valor game, he was in amongst the Swangardians, waving all the smoke, singing, jumping about. The swashbuckling pirate enjoying this one.
Swole played for Halifax Wanderers after the League1 BC season last year. Richardson now stumbling the ball, but found himself in some really good positions here, and a foul called on Nautsa'mawt FC.
Nautsa'mawt have basically been eliminated as an attacking force in this half. Now, that's a dangerous thing to say, because we know how dangerous this team and these players can be, but they've just been absolutely negated. It's all TSS right now. That can change in an instant, of course.
Zohar, beautiful ball. Richardson, heavy touch.
Heavy first touch there by Taylor.
McKay's just going to grab it in the far side.
They want to try and test McKay with getting some shots in here. Oh, Richardson nearly cut that out, but it's picked up by Kaiser, who sends a long ball forward, and Connor Adams finally has something to do. He's going to be getting sunburn out there if he's not moving about more.
It's not even May yet, reaching about to 22 this afternoon. Feels like more as well. Beautiful day to open this season.
As I think I mentioned in the women's game, when I was driving up from Oregon yesterday, the peak in our car hit 33, which for
Your car
April,
has the weirdest temperature reading, I
well,
swear.
the outside temperatures also looked as if it could be that, but it was all in Fahrenheit, so I didn't understand it.
Richardson after a great layoff from Grant Verhoeven. Richardson encroaching to the 18. Taylor Richardson ahead.
Oh,
Trying to find Edwardson.
poor ball there. Did everything right in the build-up to that and just a giveaway in the end. But Richardson's been very involved since he's come on. Big bustling centre forward.
I like him as a winger as well.
Can play a variety of roles. I've seen him play in the middle of the park as well with UFV.
Ball whipped in towards goal. Paul flicks it on just wide. First real opportunity this half for Nautsa'mawt off the head of Ethan Gopal, the League 1 BC veteran of last year in Ontario. And that header just over to the right of Connor Adams' goal.
Wasn't concerned in the slightest there because of Adams' reaction. He was just very calm about, it's going wide.
I probably made it more interesting than it had to
Yeah,
be.
because you're getting all excited and Connor's just like, that's fine.
The angle. It's the angle we have. It's the glass.
Yes, let's blame that.
Logan Chung checks into the game for Nautsa'mawt FC for Asvin Chauhan.
I mean, what a player that you can bring on, Logan Chung.
Adonii, beautiful switch for Eric Edwardson. Clips it through for Adonii. He's running onto this one now for the Rovers. Numbers in the box. Adonii across for Richardson and away. Thumping clearance there by Herdalik, or Kaiser
Needed
rather.
to get more numbers up there, did TSS. That was a great little ball forward from Eric, who's kind of found his feet now in this half. Edwardson again chipping that in, and again no TSS players there, just 5 yellow bodies and Bennett McKay.
As a Nautsa'mawt player, Noah Herdalik cramping up here for the visitors.
Kind of understandable in these conditions.
Tomas Penny over to take some water here.
We'll take this opportunity as well to mention if you want to get in touch with us during the broadcast, you can do so on Twitter at AFTN Canada, or you can leave a message in the YouTube chat. If you're watching it in delay later on as well, just shoot us a message if you want to chat about the game. Always happy to chat about League 1 on Twitter. We'll have full League 1 BC coverage all season long on aftn.ca. Gideon and myself will have the call for all bar one TSS Rovers home games. That other game will be a featured match. Peter Shad and Katie Hamilton will have the call for that one. That will be live on the BC Soccer YouTube channel and on TELUS channel 1993. 8 featured match days will be featured on TELUS's Optic channel 1993, as well as the YouTube channels as well for BC Soccer. 8 men, 8 women's games, 8 featured match days. Check out the League 1 BC website and you'll find the full schedule of those games there. I'll also have the commentary for Altitude FC games this year. They will not be live, unfortunately, this year, but we are going to be doing it as quick as possible after the game. We'll be doing the commentary live at the game, and then they hope to get the videos up within 24 hours. Just putting the pressure on the guys to get that done.
Great crew there at Altitude FC doing that media wonders.
And it's not that we've fired Gideon from those ones, it's just the setup we've got is only allowing for one mic right now. But there might be a way we can get round it. Gideon just wants to spend the summer sunbathing.
That's exactly right, Michael.
Oh.
Yellow card for Adonii.
Not sure if you can hear the no way shouts from the TSS players over to our right. Big smiles on their faces. You can just tell that they're just itching to be down on that pitch playing. I mean, worst case scenario for me for TSS, if they come out of this with just a point, yeah, it's 2 points dropped at home, but for a side that is so heavily depleted, getting anything from this game is fantastic. But they've been the far better side, and I really think Darren Rusher and the guys will be really upset if they don't come out of this with all 3 points. Mike Mosher is certainly not going to be best pleased with some of the performances from his side. Just haven't really got into this game.
Corner kick coming up for Chris Lee in that left foot. Got a great delivery, does the Nautsa'mawt number 87. So he'll take one to that far corner. Great ball whipped in towards Mitch O'Brien. Had a strike blocked by Adeniyi, cleared by Segala, but right back into the danger area. Dealt with by Verhoeven. Adeniyi off to the races here for TSS. He's going to go for a run as it's back for Hrdlicka, who's just going to thump it into the stands here. Look out. Wow. What a clearance from Hrdlicka.
In these conditions, when you're a tired defender, you do not want a player on the pitch like KJ Adeniyi. He looks like he has got pace to burn. When I was doing the research for the game and just reading about him, he looks such an exciting prospect, and he's certainly a player that knows how to find the back of the net. As Grant Verhoeven making way for number 16, Nasib Baines, former Whitecaps Academy alumni, another University of Toronto Varsity Blues player.
Talked about how many guys are missing for TSS. Haven't talked as much about Nautsa'mawt guys that aren't here. Mario Kovacevic, one of them for Nautsa'mawt. Also, no Chris Fisher or Eric White. But Josh Tomei as well, I really like his game. So a couple of guys not in the lineup today for Nautsa'mawt. Free kick here for Ali Zohar. Will give way for Jones. Jones, beautiful left-footed ball, but away by Chris Lee. Forward again by Fugo Sagawa and clear by Joe Zupo.
Zupo's just going to mop those up all day long if you put it on a plate for him like that.
Running down the touchline there was Zarjanpour in a foul as he grabbed at the shoulders of Hrdlicka. A foul on Zarjanpour. Free kick for TSS just inside their own half.
Yellow card issued to Thomas Pena of Nautsa'mawt FC.
Just watching that challenge back again. Looked a little bit innocuous at first to me, but then watching it back, it definitely was a yellow card. Tugs him around.
Kyle Jones looking through for Richardson. Now Kaiser. Hrdlicka on the turn. Out of the way of Kyle Jones. Now Pena in the middle for Samaello. First time we've said his name all half, and he's been pretty quiet. Logan Chung now on the near side. Attacking on his right foot. Speedy winger brother of Caden of Vancouver FC. Logan Chung now watched by Edwardson closely for Samaello. Chris Lee now finding Mitch O'Brien. Hrdlicka. Kaiser, good step in by Tyler Dillon, who just thumps it into the Nautsa'mawt half. I feel like both teams won't mind a point at the beginning of the season, but Rovers favored here the way they played in this first 73 minutes here so far this afternoon. Sure they'd love to nab one here late on. What do they have in their back pocket to try and turn the tides into their favor here to win the game?
And they've certainly bossed the play. Maybe haven't had as many clear-cut opportunities, though, as their play would dictate them to have.
Throwing for Daniel Kaiser.
I mean, right now you look at Nautsa'mawt and you're wondering where their goal might come from, which, of course, now might be famous last words as they go on the break.
Go Paul, 1-on-5. Create some space. Now Tomas Pena for Nautsa'mawt for Gopal. Logan Chung for Pena. And hit a Rovers player there, Papa K.
Sore one.
Off the noggin, going to sting there, Papakrakopoulos. He's been excellent this afternoon, nullifying that speed of Tomei and that Tomas Pena in that right wing, for Nautsa'mawt.
We've got a tweet in from, he was Lakeside Papa, he's now changed his name to Callum Irving is a traitor. That's the Pacific FC Vancouver rivalry coming. Just talking about the tie-up and the pilot project that we touched on a little bit earlier that sees Nautsa'mawt linking up with Pacific FC. And, I mean, on the whole, I think it's a good thing. I would like it to be, like, two-way. So if any of the players on Nautsa'mawt really impress, they could step up and get a chance to play some games in the CPL. Unfortunately, it's just a downward kind of transition just now. And it is a pilot project, so there's still a lot to work out. I don't like that in League1 BC terms it strengthens two of the sides because it's strengthening Unity as well as Nautsa'mawt. And then teams like TSS that have NCAA players can't have such an affiliation going forward because they can't play with professional players. So, I mean, those are the little kinks that aren't great, but on the whole, anything that is going to provide a platform to get some of the fringe guys on the CPL sides some meaningful competitive minutes is a great thing. And who knows, maybe some of these guys in League One, not necessarily just with Nautsa'mawt and Unity, they might impress the CPL coaches watching and earn themselves those deals themselves.
Nicholas Momatani, a second half sub for Nautsa'mawt. Kaiser now trying to get into the 18 of the Rovers, and again Richardson answers the bell and trying to push his team forward to the counterattack for Fugo Sagawa. Edwardson now for Sagawa. O'Brien steps in really well for Nautsa'mawt. Great defending.
Yeah, Sagawa very easily nudged off the ball there. I don't know if he was trying to win the free kick there, but big lad knocking him off the ball.
Herdalika for Nautsa'mawt out wide there for Daniel Kaiser. Herdalika forward there for Tomas Pena, and there is Zarjanpour. Fouled there by Pena. The 13 or so minutes to go plus stoppage time on the Saturday afternoon from Swangard on YouTube, partnership with Sports Canada TV and AFTN Canada. Gideon Hill, Michael McCall with you for the action this afternoon as Nautsa'mawt prepping to bring in Connor Robillard as a sub. See who comes out of the game. Maybe Gopal has been quiet the last little bit for Nautsa'mawt. Run a lot of miles this afternoon for the visitors. Omatani now finding Mitch O'Brien. Clip it through for Chung. Bounces there to Connor Adams.
I think coming into this one, if you'd said, it's going to be a goalless draw, we'd have been a bit surprised with the quality and talent on there.
Well, the way the first 25 minutes went as well, you thought, this is going to be a goal fest, but certainly petered over.
Still time, just 11 minutes and change, and then you wouldn't think there's going to be tons of stoppage time. There has been the substitutions.
Chung now, little 1-2 between Momatani and Gopal. At the knee, trying to chase that one down. It's Herdalika for Nautsa'mawt.
Need to try and get the ball forward for Adeniyi to run onto.
Great ball to the wide area for Daniel Kaiser. Just could not hold the line.
He's pointing to the ball going, look, it's right on the line.
Kaiser's had his fair share of moments with officials over the last League1 BC season. Getting a red against Altitude last year and missing a couple of games after that.
Yeah, that was one of my standout moments.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, there was a big F-bomb dropped right in front of our commentary. I'm sure our mics picked it up perfectly.
Tomas Pena leaving the game for Nautsa'mawt. In comes Connor Robillard, the number 19.
Now, that's an interesting one, because when I was saying earlier, it's hard to see where a Nautsa'mawt goal might come from. Pena was the guy that I would have pegged to possibly get it. We saw how good he was last year with Whitecaps in League One. Otani dancing his way through, but just running out of room. A nice little nudge out of bounds.
Now into the game for Nautsa'mawt FC, number 19, Connor Robillard.
'81st minute here at Swangard. Can one of these two teams nab the opener here?
Long ball forward. Important header there again from Joe Zuppo. Probably been one of my two standouts, I think, for Nautsa'mawt this afternoon.
Paul thought about keeping the ball in, but brought back here. Segal will take the throw for the Rovers. Flicked on by Edwardson, put ahead by Joe Zuppo. And there's Segawa. Zarjanpour for the Rovers trying to push the envelope here. Richardson to his left, and it falls through Kaiser. And there's Taylor Richardson for TSS, back across goal. Might fall here still to Edwardson. As now they put the smoke out after no goals so far. Zohar turned around by O'Brien, who's been excellent for Nautsa'mawt after this substitution at halftime.
I mean, they've bought the smoke. They may as well use it. It's got an expiry date.
Also provides a distraction
Yes.
for the opposition.
Has Bennett McKay disappearing in the smoke out there?
Remember, I was watching one of the old games back from, I think, 2018 when Polisi scored 2 against Portland. The Timbers at the time against USL League 2. And right after they scored, is about 2 minutes later, the smoke was still there, and he scored from about 18 yards out. And I don't know if the smoke played a factor, but it was kind of cool to see it just disappearing. As Aiello strike saved there by Adams, who pushes it forward here for Edwardson.
There was a Whitecaps game back in their USL days here at Swangard as well, where it was similar. The smoke just hung at night and the game was stopped until the smoke cleared. I think it was against Puerto Rico, and they had asked for the game to be stopped because they couldn't see.
Edwardson out wide for Zohar. It's got that great delivery. Richardson, top of the 18. Finding Papa K. Out wide for Ali Zohar. Overlapping run from Papa K. Great ball. He's onside. Back across for Richardson. Away there by Herdlika, who's going to cramp up again here for Nautsa'mawt in the 83rd. And they're ushering for him to be subbed here is Joe Zuppo.
Nico Papakay had to do better with the cross there. It had to be a lofted one and not just a little cut back. But that referee telling Nautsa'mawt to make this change. And it looks like it's going to be Eric White that is coming on.
We'll take the armband and give it to Daniel Kaiser, though, Herdlika. White being put through his paces late on here.
White saw some time with WFC2 last season in MLS Next Pro.
So Herdlika's come back onto the pitch here for Nautsa'mawt.
That's the kind of person you then want to be targeting, because he's not going to, he could be more of a hindrance. Referee has actually made Herdlika go off until this is taken.
Ali Zohar for the Rovers to the middle for Richardson. It's up there away by Zuppo.
Again, a lot of crowding around McKay. This is definitely in the TSS game plan. Is he going to get another corner and another chance to do it here? And Nautsa'mawt are screaming at their bench to get this substitution made, because obviously Noah Herdlika can't do it. And
they're not going to allow it. Zohar back in the middle towards McKay. Punches it away. Drops down for Kyle Jones. Jones down to his right foot. Back into the 18 for Edwardson. Top of the near sideline. So the corner, and be a goal kick for McKay. Herdlika finally.
A lot happening there. And finally they are going to make this substitution. It's going to be a double substitution. I think this is the last window for Nautsa'mawt. Eric White, the number 17, is coming on.
And Marcus Pujols, the number 20. For Herdlika and Sam Aiello. Pujols was excellent last year, League 1, and then transferring into the Canada West season with the UBC Thunderbirds as a centre back.
Yeah, he was excellent. Claimed the starting role in Canada West by the end of that season. Him and Zupo is going to make a formidable pairing back there as TSS have to try and find some way through in these last 5 minutes.
Hard to believe we only have had 2 goals today. It came in the first game. Didn't think, given the history between these two last year, the 3 meetings they had, it would be no goals.
Well, there's still time for some scoreboard action here as Richardson again heavily involved.
He's going to get to that ball first for Richardson. He's got the trailer with him. Plays it in. McKay missed it, and he missed the open net. Oh, what a chance for the Rovers in the 86th minute. Adeniyi just can't put it home.
To be fair to Adeniyi, he was not expecting that ball to come through to him. It was just a misplay by the Nautsa'mawt defence, and when you get an opportunity like that late in the game, you've got to put that away. And just watching it back, it was a beautiful ball in. Bit of confusion between the goalkeeper and the defender, and it just comes somewhat unexpectedly, I think, to KG Adeniyi. What a debut that would have been if he'd managed to put that away. But Richardson and Adeniyi have certainly linked up well since the two of them came on.
Kyle Jones now for the Rovers, switching the play for Fugo Sagawa. Now down the touchline for Eric Edwardson. Chris Lee stepping in. Edwardson got to it a second time. Back there for Connor Adams. He'll control for the Rovers into the Nautsa'mawt half. Up there was Richardson. And offside flag goes up again on TSS. A couple of times today they've been caught offside.
It's going to take a moment of magic, you feel, to break the deadlock in this one with time fast running out. I think Nautsa'mawt just look kind of resigned that they're happy just to take a point from this. We spoke earlier as well about the importance every single point matters during the regular season on the men's side, because whoever finishes top in the regular season standings, that is who's going to be the League 1 representative for BC in next year's Canadian Championship. TSS Rovers have had a taste of that. They want to be back there next year. They'll be happy with the amount of players that they're missing for this one to come away with at least something, but they're looking for all three. Sagawa tries to do too much there. Gets his pocket picked.
O'Brien now for Nautsa'mawt, clipping it ahead there for Connor Robillard. And away there by Sargentpour.
Right thing to do. Keeper was coming out, but you can't take any chances.
88th minute here at Swangard. 2 minutes to go, plus I'm assuming some stoppage time after the Hrdlicka injury. Thrown here for Chris Lee of Nautsa'mawt. Towards Chung.
Looked like a foul throw for me, but
Eric White now over the top there for Kaiser. It's going to roll, and it just out too far ahead of him on that far side.
90 seconds plus stoppage time remaining.
Connor Adams to play away for TSS. Play the Highlanders.
Oh, and a poor giveaway there.
Next Saturday here at Swangard on YouTube. We'll have the call for you then as well. Robillard knocks it down. Controlled by Dylan and away towards Edwardson. Chris Lee now for Nautsa'mawt down the line. O'Brien takes a touch, keeps it in beautifully. Put in to help out Zohar, and a foul there on Robillard. Sagawa now back for TSS in the 90th minute. Adams out to the wide area for Papa K. Can he create something late on for the Rovers? Beautiful clip ball there for Richardson, but his opposite 20, Pahal steps in and clears it out. And a deep throw in here for the Rovers late on.
Is someone going to be the last-ditch hero?
Way by O'Brien. There's Sargentpour for the Rovers. Down the line for Niko Papakrikopoulos. There's Richardson on the turn, and a foul there. And a late free kick for TSS in a very good position. O'Brien can't believe it. But TSS a chance to put maybe even Kyle Jones in the ball here.
This is a great opportunity for TSS. Perfect position to whip one in. 3 players standing over it. You want to get some more guys in the box, though, you have to say.
Ali Zohar over the ball for TSS in his favorite right foot. After that missed chance by Keji Adeniyi here, a chance for TSS to claim their spot on the opening day here this League 1 BC season. Zohar floats it in. It's in the middle towards Adeniyi and away there to the left of Bennett McKay.
Pirouetting in the air to try and get onto that, just couldn't connect. And is that going to be the last chance for either of these sides as we move into stoppage time? You can't feel there's going to be much of it. My big bugbear last year was we didn't get the electronic boards telling us how many minutes were left, and they haven't increased that or improved on that for this year.
Flicked on by Nasib Baines, the University of Toronto. Sagawa will just nudge that one out of play. Throw coming up for Marcus Bahalj of Nautsa'mawt FC. Got that long throw on him. He's going to try and create some opportunities here for Nautsa'mawt. A couple of players in the box for the visitors, including Logan Chung and Connor Robillard this up. O'Brien into the 18 as well of the Rovers. Bahalj lacking in that throw and height and pace. Kaiser knocks it back into the Rovers box for Fugo Sagawa. Good win of the ball by Gopal, who's had a great game for Nautsa'mawt. It just rolls out to his left, and another throw in for Sagawa here.
Can't be much longer left in this one.
Foul there by Evertson on O'Brien, and a rare Eric Evertson outing where we don't say his name a whole lot. Doesn't make a difference in this game. A great outing against Valor. Free kick here for Chris Lee of Nautsa'mawt, and good position for the visitors. Can they grab a late goal here and make it a double in the day for the new branded Nautsa'mawt FC? One man on the wall, Kyle Jones. Lee in the left foot delivery. In a good position for the UBC Thunderbird and former Pacific FC player. Chris Lee, left-footed ball, and it's a good one towards the back post, and offside flag goes up. Gopal was there, and it foul as well on the Rovers' Tyler Dillon, who's down in some discomfort here for TSS. Going to limp off a little bit there for TSS away from the ball as Adams will take a goal kick.
Feel this could be the last kick off the game as Connor Adams gets this one underway. No, it's still a few seconds to get added on.
And that is it here for the second half of this home opening weekend for the Rovers in League 1 BC. Points shared between TSS and Nautsa'mawt. A slower game than the first half might have indicated, Michael, but still points shared, and both teams will be happy with this in some way.
Yeah, in some way TSS will be happy not to come away with a defeat at the end of this with so many players down, but they were the better team. They dominated play. They just couldn't create those clear-cut chances in front of goal. We talk about Nautsa'mawt on the women's side, very stingy defensively. It's also been the MO of Mike Mosher as well. He builds his teams on a solid defensive footing. They're a hard team to break down, and with Joe Zuppel back there, they just couldn't find a way. I just feel TSS needed to test Bennett McKay a little bit more. He is a susceptible keeper. They tried their best at the corners, but ultimately they'll take the point. They can move on now, and it's all to play for the rest of the season.
Your final, the first game, the women's Nautsa'mawt team won 2-0. This game finishes scoreless. We'll talk to you next Saturday here at Swangard, 1:30 and 4, as Rovers battle the Highlanders.